What's good, Wagering World? It's your boy Five Star in Vegas, broadcasting live as always from beautiful Summerlin, Nevada. In here with my co-host, my guy, the only Sacramento Kings fan that I know. What's good, Spread Astaire?
Man, we had an exciting weekend of NBA basketball. Results. Saturday wasn't the best for me. Sunday I cleaned up, and we had a great game there with the Nets and the Celtics. I know everybody's real excited about how that turned out. So I hope we get 7 games of those because that was so much fun. So I can't wait to keep breaking down these games.
Yeah, it was an exciting weekend. I think we both took a major lump across the head on the Minnesota and Grizzly game one.
Yeah.
Everyone was expecting Memphis to be at home and come out fired up, but it was immediately I saw it was a little bit funny refereeing going on, but we're not going to even concentrate or focus on that. But what I did see also very early in that matchup was that, hey, man, Minnesota may have the top 2 players in the series with Cat and with AE or Ant Man, the man of many names, but a very great player, and Anthony Edwards, that's on the come up and a very likable dude, man. His merchandise and uh, his following is about to go out the roof after this series, man.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about him, and after the first interview, I was sold. He's got game, he's got confidence, and he's a lot of fun to listen to. So I'm a big Anthony Edwards fan. So if I'm going to lose a bet, I'm happy to lose it to that guy.
That's right. That guy's amazing. And you know what's crazy? A guy that I really respect, former basketball coach who's actually on Twitter. He says he reminds him of Dominique Wilkins. That wouldn't have been my comp.
Yeah.
Is that your comp too?
No, but that was my favorite player as a kid, and he's one of my favorite players now. So I welcomed it.
Maybe he's saying with him having the elevation on the jumper that he has. I don't see Dominique and
I
Anthony.
think it's because he just does the power slams.
I see more Mitch Richmond. Me,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
prime Mitch Richmond.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I see him. But let's get to yesterday's news real quick. We got a special guest coming on. I want to get him in there real fast. Yesterday's news spread. What happened on Friday?
Yeah, so I had the Hawks, and they started slow against Cleveland, but at the end, Trae Young came through, best player on the floor, really elevated his teammates, right, and they took that win. And then, of course, they went to Miami on Sunday and didn't get it done, but I kind of saw that one coming as well. But yeah, it worked out for well for me having those Hawks on Friday night, so we got another win to end the week.
Yeah, I did a wonderful, 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 wonderful game Friday night with the Cavs and the Hawks. I did some great in-game bets on that one, man. We were able to catch the Hawks plus 220, plus 170, and with some points after they had the slow start. The Cavs won the first half. Um, Very good game. I also was involved in that game with my free play. I gave you guys Darius Garland over 25 and a half, and he got stuck on 21. And what's so crazy is he had 27 shots. Kid with 9 out of 27. He had a tough shooting game. He got up enough shots to get to where we needed him to be. But I can't be mad. He's delivered for us so many times. He has such a bright future. So we came up a little short, but we did win, and that made it for our 13th winning week straight on the show. Even if we're up one game, we're winning, and that's what it's about when you're doing business. It's about long term, because if you're up one game each week, by the end of the month, you're up 4 units. So that's how you have to look at this. This is long term. It isn't about get rich overnight. It's about consistency. So we got in one of the Vegas homies that we're about to bring in right now. Our guy, HAKEEM SKEE Prophet, one of the top NBA cappers in the country. What's up, my brother? How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. I'm putting a lot of bets in this morning, future bets, stuff like that. But it's good to be back with you guys, talk some NBA.
What futures are you putting in, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh man, so I got a whole list over here.
Okay.
I'll be talking for forever, but the way I'm looking at it, it's only a few teams. We kind of talked about it last time. It's only a few teams that I trust in each conference. So I'm looking in the East. I like the Heat. I think they got the easiest route. After this matchup, if they win, they'll go to play either the Raptors, and they're banged up, and the Sixers, and I don't trust them at all with Doc Rivers and James Harden. So when I'm looking at betting these futures, you kind of just got to at least be able to get them to win 2 series, and then you can either hedge or do whatever else you have to do. So I like the Heat at 4-1 to win the East, and I also like the Celtics. I think they can win this series with the Nets, and I also think that they can compete and beat the Bucks. So getting Robert Williams back, I love that even more. They've been playing the best basketball in 2022. So I like them as the other side to win the East at plus 320. I just need one to win, and I'll have some profit. So I like that. And I got a whole list more, man. I'll be talking for your whole show.
Hey man, I want to ask you that real quick. Since with the Celtics, as you said, I agree they've been playing the best ball in 2022. How is their coach not up for Coach of the Year?
That's a good question. I mean, it's been a lot of good coaches this year, but I think he deserves some recognition as well. Grizzlies coach has been good. It's been a few guys. Bickerstaff for Cleveland, he's been good. So it's a lot of competition for that Coach of the Year award this year.
What you think about that spread? Don't you think he raised them from the dead? I mean, Brad Stevens, they weren't listening to him anymore. They were barely a playoff team last year. Now he has them as one of the top dogs in the East, but he hasn't even been considered, and he's a rookie coach.
Yeah, but you know who we like, right? My guy Monty, I think, is the shoe in this year.
Yeah.
So let him do it one more year. It's almost like Monty was last year, right? Monty probably should have got it last year. How'd they give it to Thibodeau? So now you got to give it to Monty this year because now he done it 2 years in a row. And then if Udoka can keep going, maybe he can challenge Monty. But I think Monty Williams should get it this year. But I understand that he deserves consideration, and I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, at least a nominee, but you're right. It's a kind of like a lifetime achievement situation for Monty because he should have got it last year. So
yeah.
I guess they're doing it like the MVP now, where if we kind of feel like last
a
year,
makeup call.
A makeup call, yeah, pretty much. Okay, Ski, file for us. What you got for tonight, man?
Just on tonight's games, I got to remind myself who's playing, man. I've been diving into the whole week, getting everybody.
Right.
It's Toronto and Philly. So I guess for that matchup, I like Siakam over 25.5 points. He's hit that, I think, 3 of the last 4 times that these teams have played. And he's hit it, I want to say 4 of his last 5 games. And you got a lot of guys missing on that Toronto side. The points are going to have to come from somewhere. And I just think, he has a good matchup for this series. So I'm going to continue to ride Siakam. And I'm especially, when they go to Toronto and Tybalt can't play, I'm definitely will be on him again there, whether he hits it tonight or not.
Okay. Any questions for him spread on that game?
I mean, what were your takeaways from that game? I was on the Raptors for game 1. I lost the bet, but I was surprised that they lost in that fashion. Do you expect a closer game tonight, or is this going to be what we're going to see the whole series?
I wasn't surprised. James Harden always, and in like the first games, I feel like he's always pretty good. And, Sixers have a lot to prove. I feel like the pressure was on them to come out in that first game and really dominate. So was I surprised? No. Do I think it will be like that every game? Also, no. But it's tough when you start subtracting players, like key players for the Raptors side. So I think the Raptors can, the longer the series goes on, if they can get some of those guys back in the lineup, they definitely have a shot. And I like them more when they're at the house in Toronto. So we'll see tonight as far as the spread. I can't back the Raptors tonight, but when they're back in Toronto, I can look their way.
I'm hoping they lose by 20 again tonight, so I can get a good number in game 3. That's what I'm rooting for.
Yeah, and then you can hit them in the first quarter, first half in game 3.
First quarter, first half. If they get blown out again, and I'll talk about my pick on that a little bit later on Ball and Parlay when we give our selections. What else you got, Ski?
Well, the other game is Utah and Dallas, and this one, it's tough to pick. I bet Dallas plus 5.5, and I see it's moving. It's going. Market is agreeing with me a little bit, at least here. It's 5s across the board, and really, I just don't believe in Utah. I know they won that game. They barely won, and Dallas, they shot I think less than 40% from the field. They shot less than 30% from 3. They got out rebounded by like 20, and they failed to cover by 0.5 point. You know what I'm saying? So I think they can play a lot better. Their defense was spectacular. They held the Jazz to under 100 points. If they can continue to do that, they give themselves a chance to win with Luka or without. So I like the Mavericks at the house plus the 5 or 5.5 points.
Yeah, I agree with you a lot on that game. It would be my lean. I didn't play it. I played actually player props on that game. But I definitely expect Dallas to bounce back. What's the over and under on that game? That looks like
it's
a
down
clear
to 206 on Bookmaker.
Yeah, it looks like a clear under the way both of those teams played. Both it's defense first. They make it very difficult for you to score. They got two coaches with great X and O's when it comes to drawing up different sets and stuff to stop you and put you in a very difficult position and take away your strong point. Donovan Mitchell had a great second half last game, but even with that said, I just don't see him being in Utah next season. It seems like just something's not right about that Utah team. Uh, and if Dallas can somehow get enough scoring, Cleaver hit some of those open threes, right? Spread. They might instead of shooting air balls, they might end up winning this game straight up. What you think? What's your thoughts about what Skee said about the Mavericks game spread?
Yeah, I'm on the same. My only worry there on that under is it just keeps going down. I think, and Skee would probably know a little better than me. Didn't that thing open around 213 for game one? So it's about 7 points lower, I think, than
No,
where
for
it
game
was.
one, it actually opened 217.5 and got bet down.
Yeah, it kept getting bet down, right? So yeah, see, so it's 11 points lower than game one. So it's tough for me to get involved on the under. Now, at one point, it would have to be going back over. And of course, if the Mavericks make those shots, the game looks a little different. I felt the strongest about this one for today, to get into it a little bit later. But Mavericks were real close in that game, and I think that they can make the right adjustments to at least cover the spread and maybe get the win. If they fall down 2-0 and they lose the first two at home, I think even if Luka comes back, they put themselves in a tough spot. So let's see if they rally together and make it a series tonight.
Yeah, they're a very good team. I expect them to do so. Skee, you got anything left for the people, man? Anything knowledge you want to share with them before you get out of here? I know you got to start your show in the next few minutes.
Well, let me ask you guys real quick. Let me ask you this question: Warriors Nuggets. Do the Nuggets win more than 2 games in this series?
Go ahead, Spread. I'll go after you.
My guess right now is no.
My
guess is the gentleman where the Warriors dropped game 3. I like so that was the only one I got right on Saturday, right? And that was nice to have an easy one. And the Nuggets just don't have the depth, man. I mean, the Warriors have more depth in the starting lineup, and then when we go to the bench lineups, it's even worse. It's even more pronounced there. I think that's really tough in a playoff series. Now, at home, game 3, they probably get the friendly whistle. You're going to have one Jokic explosion night, where he goes off. But boy, it's really tough to ask those guys. Like they're all quality role players, right? Monty Morris, Austin Rivers. But when those are your second, third, fourth options, Aaron Gordon. Really, he's supposed to be a defensive stopper that you have to respect. He's not supposed to be your second option. So, too bad for the Nuggets. They built their team well, but the injuries robbed them. So my guess right now would be 4-1.
All right.
Yeah, I'd be somewhere around that too. It's funny because Denver actually played Golden State well. They won the first 3 matchups this year.
But Draymond never played in those.
Right, that's what I was just about.
Any of those.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, you just took the words out of my mouth. But they didn't have Draymond. The 2 times he's played, the last 2 times they won both those games by double digits because he makes that bigger difference on being able to kind of shadow Jokic. They use it where they might throw Looney at him first, and then they come double with Draymond. He's so smart. He's a great safety. He can kind of mess up everything that Jokic is trying to do because Jokic is usually looking to, of course, score first. If not score, then kick it to a 3-point shooter. And Draymond does a great job of just confusing everything that the Nuggets are doing and kind of, giving them a lot of problems. But now one game, Skee, I'm like maybe a gentleman's sweep. But one thing, we just heard that Michael Porter might be back. You got any news on that, Skee?
Man, if he comes back, they just forcing it. He's not ready to come back and play, or else, we would have heard something about it before they got that. They lost that game in that fashion in game 1. Right. So what I was thinking here, I don't think the Nuggets win more than 2 games. So the way I approached it, I made 3 bets. Warriors to sweep, that one was plus 400. Warriors to win in 5, that's plus 250. And Warriors to win in 6, that's plus 475. If the Warriors win in 5, I get half a unit. If they win in a sweep, I'll get 2 units. And if they win in 6, I'll get a 2.75 units. So, yeah, like I said, I don't think the Nuggets win more than 2 games. So that's how I approach that one. And another thing I'll say is, like I mentioned earlier, when you make futures bets, not necessarily series bets, but futures bets, you kind of need them to win like 2 series, and then you can come back and hedge. So another thing I did, I told you about the Eastern Conference. For the West, I took the Warriors to win the West plus 300 as long as they stay healthy. If everybody's at their best, I really think they got a chance to win. Like, I know Phoenix is the clear favorite, but I think they can compete, especially with their new like depth lineup that they got out there. It's too much offensive power. So I like them to win the West. And I also, it's going to be, like I say, you can come back and hedge. I like the Grizzlies plus 1,000. They were just, before this loss, they were just like plus 500, I think, to win the West. Now they're plus 1,000. And I think the Grizzlies, like, obviously, I think they're going to come back and win this series. As far as 7 seeds, there's only been 1 7 seed, bro, since they changed the format and stuff since 2003. 1 7 seed to be the 2 seed. I think the Grizzlies are the clear-cut better team. I just think they didn't come to play in that first game. I'm hearing, them in the interviews. I'm looking at, John Morant loves to talk on Twitter and Instagram. You know what he posted on there? He posted that
Jordan.
Yeah.
It's just one
you gotta
game.
Go prove it though, man. All that look good. All that sound good.
I know.
When I watched that series, and I know you're not supposed to overreact from game 1. Timberwolves will be in that series the whole series, brother. Believe that, because the whole season they played them tough, and you got a bunch of young cats who are used to playing each other in AAU ball, and this is just mano, machismo involved, and Minnesota is going to play them all the way to game 6 or 7, bro. Most likely a game 7 in Memphis, I guarantee you.
Well, I'll tell you this, they're not about to win game 2. So
game 2, no, I don't think so either. I'll be all on the Grizzlies for game 2, definitely. But this is my problem with that Grizzlies team, just real briefly. John Morant is the star player, but as we know, we've seen this before with Westbrook and D Rose. It's difficult being just an athlete going to the rack as the number 1 option on the team. They're not giving you those calls. He's going to get slaughtered in the playoffs, and he's only going to get 25% of the calls that he gets in the regular season when he's getting that contact by the rim. He doesn't shoot well enough to affect the game from the mid-range and 3-point section, so he needs his others to really step up for Memphis to be a real team. When I think of Memphis, I think of John Morant. Now, who's supposed to be their second guy? You got Dylan Brooks, you got Desmond Bain, you got
this is what I'm gonna say. John Morant went out, and they continue to win every single game and cover every single game. That's the thing about the Grizzlies, and that's why I like the Grizzlies from a futures perspective, because you all know if one of the star players goes down for some of these teams, they're done. The Grizzlies, they still gonna chug right along no matter who's in the lineup. So the way I looked at it, what I talked about with the futures for Warriors and Grizzlies to win the West, like, I think the Warriors can really go out there and win it, honestly, over the Suns and the Grizzlies. But let's say Draymond gets hurt. Let's say Steph gets hurt. It may change it a little bit. And then they play the Grizzlies the next series.
I don't see them beating the Suns.
But look, when you get to, like I said, when you play a futures bet, they got to win 2 series and you can hedge it.
Oh, yeah. For sure. Oh, yeah, I understand your approach. I'm just saying from a basketball point of view, I don't think they're going to beat the Suns.
I think they match up well with the Suns, right? First of all, they ain't going to have no pressure because they know they're retiring with rings no matter what, right? So they get to come in, even though they should be the favorites. They're going to be the underdogs, and they got that ability to just shoot so well you can't cover it.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. And then the one thing where the Suns excel is defense, and I think the Warriors are one of the few teams, right? And SKEE talked about it, right? And if you look at its futures, it's all the teams that can defend on the other side, right? He picked the 2 defensive teams. I would throw the Bucks in there as well, but I think that what he's thinking there is there's not enough line value to get involved right now. But
exactly,
Heat, one of the best defensive teams in the league, the Celtics, and then I'm putting the Warriors.
I love the Heat pick. I love the Heat pick going out the East. I love that future. And the simple is this: the draw they have is amazing. Like kind of SKEE hit on, man. And you notice all the good teams are going to eliminate each other for them in the East. They only really got to get through the Bucks because the Nets and the Sixers. The Nets and Celtics are going to eliminate each other. And then you got the Sixers and Raptors that are going to eliminate each other. So they do have a great road. I really like that future bet that he has on the East with the Heat. SKEE, we always appreciate your knowledge, man. We appreciate your time, man. Thanks so much for coming in. Tell them where we can find you and where they can listen to your show at.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at SKEE Profit, and I do shows on a few different platforms. I always tweet them out, but I'm gonna be on Spotify. That's where I'll be on after this. So appreciate you guys having me, and good luck to you.
All right, we'll see you next week, Skee. We really appreciate you, man.
All right.
All right, fellas. We want to hit a little USFL before we got into the ball and parlay, man.
Yeah, we'll go back to yesterday's news.
Yeah,
I wanted to know if you watched it because I saw on Twitter everyone dragging this product, and I was thinking, now I only watched one game. You sent me a play, the Houston Gamblers. So I took the play that you gave me and I threw it on. And I said, I don't see why people don't like this product. I understand it's not the NFL, but who advertised it and told you it was the NFL, right? Burger King doesn't say they're Ruth Chris, right? They tell you
right.
what they are. And I thought for what we saw, I thought it was a fun product. I thought those kids were out there dealing. Obviously, the line going to have problems, but good defensive pass rush is always going to beat an offensive line that doesn't know each other. I enjoyed it, and I was surprised that when I went online, and maybe that's my fault for going online and not talking to real humans,
Right.
but people didn't seem to enjoy it, and I thought it was a good product. What did you think?
I think it was an excellent product, especially for the short time that they put it together. You see, they don't have a big budget, obviously, with the fact that all the teams are pretty much staying in the same city and playing each other in the same little stadiums. They're trying to build a brand, but the football that they put on the field was more than decent, man. I really enjoyed watching the games that I watched. I was cutting in between them, had both the tubes going, one on the NBA and one on that, just to keep focus on it. We had the bet. As you said, we had the Gamblers first half plus 115 and plus 1.5, and we also had them for the game plus 130 and plus 3. And they were pretty dominant. They had control of the game until the end. Philly, it's not Philly, excuse me. Who were they playing?
Michigan Panthers.
Michigan,
right?
Michigan Panthers. They fought back a little bit because they subbed. Because my immediate thoughts when I'm looking at these teams is, hey, who's the quarterback? Who's the quarterback? That's why who's the quarterback and who's the coach. And when I saw Paxton Lynch was the number one for Michigan, it made it pretty easy for me to fade them. I'll take Kevin Sumlin and Clayton Thorson, who's had experience in the NFL, ran a pro-style offense in Northwestern, played a lot of big-time games in the Big Ten any day over Paxton Lynch. I didn't like him coming out. I don't see a lot of game that he possesses. I think he's more of a scrambler. He can't step back and read the defenses. His arm is a pop gun. So that was an easy fade on that one. And that's what I'm thinking for when I'm looking at all these USFL games. It's like, who's the quarterback? Who's the head coach? What's their philosophies? I actually only lost one game this weekend on the USFL, and that was the over and under on the New Orleans Breakers and Philadelphia Stars game. I don't know what happened on that one. It's just that they had every opportunity in the world to show you that they did. In the third quarter, the over and under live was 49.5, but they kept missing opportunities and got some goal line stops and ended up staying within the 43.5. But the product's very good, and I'll be looking to get more information on it each week, and we'll start maybe giving out a couple USFL games before we take our break in June.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was good. So I'm glad that somebody else enjoyed it. And I wonder what these people expect, because it wasn't going to be, the NFL in springtime. It was going to be a developmental league. It's just like you watch the G League, you're not going to see NBA level stuff, but you're going to see flashes from certain kids. I thought that Michigan backup looked good. Mm-hmm. I thought his receivers were getting open, and I didn't think it was weak coverage. The Houston defensive line looked good. They were getting pressure. I was seeing good moves there. So overall, I was really surprised. So hopefully they can get that thing going, man. Felt like they had something going there before the pandemic started and shut down those other leagues. So I'm all for a spring football league, man. I think that it would be good, and I think that they just need momentum. The thing is, you're never going to catch on. You got to have defending champs. You got to have storylines. The first couple of years are always going to be rough, right? But once you start to establish some players, establish some coaches, establish some storylines, I think it can be a compelling product. So hopefully they continue in the right direction.
Right. And the thing is, this is a new market, and this is no different than a trader on Wall Street. Their main thing is commodities, and they came with a brand new grain. It's a market for us. So we're gonna, definitely delve into it. And there's always advantages in new markets because the traders are still developing and learning the teams just as we had. That's why we saw mostly threes out. You didn't see anything over 3. I think last night's game, which I missed, unfortunately, was maybe Tampa minus 5.5, and I need to go look and see.
They have another one tonight. One of them got canceled.
Okay. Well, maybe it is tonight then. I'll do a little research and definitely you guys follow on Twitter. We'll be giving us some information on this USFL. Now let's get to the ball and parlay today so we can give you guys some plays for the night. Ski gave you the leans that he had on his a little bit earlier. So now we're going to give you ours.
All right, yeah, and I broke it down earlier. I'll just reiterate it quickly. The Mavericks had their chances, man. They came out, they fought tough. They do have the home court advantage. They just missed the open shots there. But if you look at this team during the year, right? Of course, they are missing Luka, but those guys were making those level of shots. You know, it's not like say like when KD missed at the end of that game, right? The last shot. I mean,
Yeah.
Tatum was all up on him. That was good defense, right? Them Mavericks were missing wide open shots. You know, I mean, they set their offense up right. They just can execute. I think they are going to be able to execute tonight. I think they keep the series alive because if it drops to 2-0 and then they go back to Utah, even if Luka comes back, it's tough. You know, hey, I even watched some stuff, and they were probably trolling me in one of my chats. You know, the old NBA refs talking about the 2002. You know, hey, these guys know that we want this. You know, these refs don't need to be told. They want these series to go a lot of games, right? So,
Right.
you know, maybe a little bit of help there as well. But I'm going to take the Mavericks +5.
Okay, so he's going with the Mavericks +5, and I'm gonna do something I rarely do, and that's hit a series and not do the opposite. Usually in the NBA, you go the
Zigzag.
opposite the
Yeah.
next night. That's I'm sure if you do the numbers on that, that's over 50% of the time that you could just go with the other team the opposite way that the spread went the last time. If someone covered last game, that means most likely they're not going to cover this one. But I don't see that happening in the Sixers game, and it's strictly because the injuries that the Raptors have. I don't see them being able to keep pace or keep up with Philly. Philly is on a mission this year. They know it's championship or bust. They have players like Embiid and Harden with extreme pressure on them to produce, but they have probably their best components around them that they've had with Maxey, who's becoming an annual All-Star. Excuse me. He has that type of game. I've liked him ever since Kentucky, man. I knew that he was going to be special in the league. He's on that Devin Booker path to really being a great combo guard. And then we also have guys stepping up on their team everywhere, like Thibault, Harris. You know, these guys are playing their best ball, and Philly already is a very good home team. I would really consider the Raptors maybe if they had Scotty Barnes, and they're saying Gary Trent is questionable tonight. They're banged up. If they had their full lineup, I would still probably lean Sixers, but without the guys that they have now, I got to go with the Sixers, man. This has been one of those games where I see what my community's doing, what the Sharps are like, and sometimes, and if they're putting too much into one team, I go opposite. As you know, this was the only series bet that I made was the Sixers, because we spoke about earlier when we had Noops on and Spread, and I talked about the series. I told him I don't think the Raptors have anyone they can throw the ball to and really get a basket. I truly believe that when they had their championship run, it was just out of the ordinary, and it was due to them adding Kawhi Leonard that year, and it was due to Kyle Lowry, who had always been a great vet, a great playoff player for them, but DeMar DeRozan hadn't stepped up and was able to carry his part to get them over the hump. They did that year. They had lightning in the bottle, but any other time you look at this franchise, they went out without much of a fight against people like LeBron and stuff. And now they're facing another monster in Embiid, and now he has a great sidekick with Harden. Harden is a very intelligent basketball player. He doesn't have the athleticism that he once possessed, but he's very smart. He knows how to get a lot of easy shots for Embiid and for his other teammates. And I just don't see the Raptors being able to keep up with them. I think the Sixers on a mission, and this isn't the team that can give them the pushback to keep this game within that 7.5 number. So we're going to go with the Sixers -7.5. And I also got a little bonus out there for you guys. We're going to do a player prop on my guy Bogdanovic from Utah, Bohan Bogdanovic. It's his birthday today. So I think that he's going to do over 19.5 points. He's been on a nice scoring flurry. He's only scored under 20 points in the last 7 times that he's played twice. So the last 5 out of 7, he's easily went over 20. With Donovan Mitchell playing this kind of second half that he played, I'm sure that the Mavericks are going to still rather give up the 3-point shot to Bogdanovic than to give up layups to Mitchell. So he's not a guy that can game plan from. He gets his baskets within the offense. And today's his birthday. So I think Bogdanovic shows up today and goes over 20 because they got to find some scoring to help Mitchell, and he's the best option. So we're going to go with spreads taking the Mavs +5, which I like a lot, and I will be playing myself. They have to win this game. We're going to go with the Sixers -7.5 because the Raptors just simply can't match up physically right now with a depleted roster. And I'm going with Bojan Bogdanovic because he's been playing well, and it's his birthday. Over 19.5 today when he plays Dallas for the Utah Jazz. Anything for the people spread before we get out of here?
No, I was going to say is when you're doing your breakdown, we could have had the debate segment on that Sixers Raptors. But Scotty Barnes, man, that was my X factor, when we were talking about it last week. And Gary Trent was another guy who I thought might have that, you were talking about they lack the ability to get those clutch buckets. I thought those are two guys that might have been able to step up, even though we didn't view them as that going into them. I thought this is a great opportunity for them. And for those guys, for him to miss those two key pieces tonight, on an already pretty short rotation, really going to be tough for Toronto. So let's hope you're right tonight so I can bank Toronto game 3.
Yeah, game 3 will be on Toronto when they go to Jurassic Park. We know what type of home court advantage they have. They haven't played there in 3 years now due to pandemic, about 3 years with fans, in a playoff atmosphere. So that'll be very exciting to watch. And they probably make like 20 out of 33 threes that night because that's the only way they're going to beat the Sixers because they have no answer for Embiid. All right, guys, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll be here all week, man, giving you guys the best information in sports. Hope you enjoyed our guest, Ski Prophet, today. Best of luck to you all.